Welcome. Today we are corrupt governors making deals with corporations on our newly discovered planet B. You'll build a city, influence your population's mood, and vie for control of presidency as you try to pocket the most money. Now, this is medium/heavy complexity, 2 to 4 players, and it plays in about 60 to 180 minutes. My plays have typically been about 2.5 hours. And we've got the designer and publisher there as well. Okay, let's take a closer look. Here we have Planet B. We've got these 3 conglomerates. We are going to do business deals. This is our player board, and as we send our briefcase out there, we're going to be doing the actions on that particular card. So we could do production, we could increase on these various tracks here. We could take news cards, and you can see each particular one has different actions, and I'll go through a few of those. So you've placed your briefcase out. We are going to say produce, so we look at our player board. We could produce this row or maybe this row. Maybe you want to spend some money to put one of these tokens out so you can produce different resources or maybe more of a certain resource. You will then maybe do the news cards, so you could pick one of these cards here. Maybe we go for this one and it makes us immoral, which will pursue different avenues when we come to scoring maybe money or putting votes in the bag or what decisions we make as the president. So be mindful how and which card you pick, because these will stay with you for a short period of time. So this one here, if you spend a particular resource, you can go up one on this track here and this track here. You know, if you get one of these little ticks out on the board, say this one, you can trigger and you can maybe take money or VPs or get extra workers. So a host of goodies there you can pick up, and it may increase our moods. You can go up on your mood here, and your population is happy with your governance there. So you can pick one of these news cards. Let's just say we go for this one here. We do everything it says on here, and we pop that next here, which shows we are immoral. Maybe we want to go up the track here, so we can pick any track in this case, or we could trigger one. So we trigger this one, and we take 2 workers, or we put some of these votes in the bag, which we're going to do. We're going to put 2 votes. Okay, once you've done those actions in any combination you want, it's the next play, and you go clockwise. So they go and do some dealing over here. They're going to reduce their mood. So I've only got room in the camera for one player board, but let's say it's come all the way back around and it's back to these guys. So they're going to go down another mood. Now, as you go down mood and your population's not happy, when it comes to this point here, the voting, which I'll explain in a minute, you are potentially losing workers and you're giving your opponents extra votes in the bag, which is not helping your chances of becoming or retaining presidency again. Whereas if your population's happy, there's money on offer, there's more votes in the bag. So be mindful of how your population is with the mood. Okay, we can pick, again, similar to this one, a movement up on here, or we can activate. We can have sway over this or the time length of before one of these votes happen. And we can place or pick up 4 workers. Maybe we want to put 2 of those workers on here, and we've triggered this card. We've completed the necessary workers required. We could do an office party, this top action, and increase our mood by 2, which I very much think we need to do. Or we could do the bottom action, hacking. We could take 10 money, or we could place one of these tokens on here, and I'll go through what they do as well. Now, you could replace 2. We've got a number of 4. So from the supply, maybe we want to take another 1-in-1 workers to back them up for when we do more buildings. You can see we've got another building here, an experimental reactor. We're going to need 4 purples, so maybe I should have just took another 2 purples, and we're looking at filling that one out on a future turn, because we want to either get free increase on that particular one and get 30 money, or if we go for the nuclear fusion option at the bottom, we can spend 4 of those, go up to here and gain 70 VPs. Now, I should add that the money in this game, if you flip it over, it then becomes VPs, and you stack them up and you'll count them up at the end of the game. So whatever actions we've got here, you can add some votes to the bag. We've got more workers to put down or acquire, and more production. Now, once, you know, everyone's gone clockwise, there's some players are going here doing the actions. Once one of these particular columns has filled up in this 2 to 3 player side of the board, you can see we will then do your actions, and that player will trigger the exchange. So if they are immoral, in this case, they're getting some money. If they're good, they're putting votes in the bag. They will then discard these briefcases. They're gone. They will then flip over. So we're flipping this grey one to a red one. So you can see at the top here, top right reminds you what actions are on the other side. So we flip it over. We've got a different set of actions. Now, once this fills up again, it's showing you that the red one will actually be discarded out of the game. And you will bring in, there's a host of Bs, and you'll put a B side there, and it'll start on the grey side. So there's different actions that come out through the game. Now, once you place your last one of these boards on, that is triggered the end of the game, and everyone gets one more turn, and then I'll go through scoring VPs in a moment. So you'll then move this track here 2 more, and then you can see this is turned to a red, was it? So it goes down here. So the exchange has happened. These particular resources are now less valuable. You're getting less money for them. And if this does trigger on here, so let's say it was cycled through again and it's triggered here, you're going to start voting. So what's going to happen then? Every player is going to move their workers back on completed businesses. If you've got just one there, you can leave it out. We're then going to look at your nation's mood as such, the population. If it's negative, you're losing workers and you're giving your opponents chance to put votes in the bag. If it's positive, you're getting the money and you're putting more votes in the bag. Okay, you'll always reset to neutral as well. Then each player is going to draw a minimum of 3 of these votes out the bag at random. So let's just say the red player takes these out, the blue player takes these out, and it's yellows now. So what were these sort of swindle tokens up here that you could have potentially acquired? So once you put one down here, you work from top to bottom, you pay 5 money, you get 2 VPs straight away. And if you go for one of these, you have more votes you can take out the bag. So it's normally 3, you can now take 4, which increases your probabilities. If you go for one of these, you can immediately put one of your votes on there, and that will contribute to when you have your final tally. So these guys can take 4 out of the bag. And then we go clockwise again. So these guys are taking 3. There's no more in the bag. Now we tally up your votes from the majority. So let's say these guys are the yellows. They have 4 yellows. Let's say these are the reds. They got 1. These are the blues, and they got 2. The presidency will stay with this player, and that's important because they're going to get 25 VPs straight away. And there's a combination of discarding some of these votes and putting some in the back as a sort of catch-up mechanism for those who were the vice president. They're going to get 10 VPs, and the llama is only getting 3 VPs. Now, there's a dodo in the 4-player game as well. Now, these are important because from now on, at the start of your turn, you can see at any point on your turn, if you're immoral, you're going to get 3 VPs, or you can choose to increase the mood. So depending on which governance you are, you're going to get more benefits. And the president gets to pick if they're immoral from this blue deck, if they're good from this orange deck. And you can see things like packaging ban. They're going to make a decision that will impact them and everyone. Are they going to increase their mood and get 2 resources and everyone else gets a resource, or decrease the mood and get 10 VPs for themselves? So some lovely variety there. Now, what other actions we got? We got things like building, which is hiding on here somewhere. Actually, there we go. So if you come across this icon, you can build, and you typically have 3 of these in your hand, and you can see they sort of remind you of how much it's going to cost, what sort of workers you need. So maybe you want to build one. We're going to go through a brewery. We pay 4, immediately turns into 4 VPs. So it's quite a cheap on this, and you can see it gives you additional options next to your sort of other buildings. You can have as many as you want. 2 orange workers are going to let you trigger these. Some of these are more expensive. You can see 25 money, different types of workers, different actions. So loads of variety there as well. And then obviously this would have been reset, and you just carry on playing. The other votes are going to happen. Governance is going to change around. There's tiebreakers and dependent on that. And once you place the last board out, you have one final turn, and then we're final scoring. So you're adding up all the VPs you've acquired through the game. You're turning your money into 1 VP. So you're going to be selling your resources. So I should add, you can sell these at any point on your turn, depending on the value of the exchange there. You can turn any of these remaining actions you've not managed to use into 2 money. And these are great. Some of them give you extra workers, extra resources, extra VPs, money, extra building actions at the end. Then your placement of the mood of your population. If it's up here, you're gaining VPs. If it's down here, you're losing VPs. And the final person to be president is going to gain 20 VPs. Then there's points for having the most votes in the bag and second most as well. Add them all up and see who is the winner with the most VPs for Planet B. Enjoy.